Good evening and welcome to 168 Hours, your weekly roundup of local news. I'm Utma Mahmoud, your host for the evening. President Dr. Muhammad Muiz calls on the youth to uphold their religious principles and values while demonstrating loyalty to the nation.
In a social media post commemorating National Youth Day, President Dr. Muiz emphasized the importance of youth moving forward and adapting to modern times, urging young people to express their commitment to their families and the country while upholding the religious values. Celebrated annually on October 22nd, National Youth Day recognizes the vital role of youth in national development and encourages their participation. It aims to underscore the importance of youth involvement and support within the society. Noting that the youth represent the largest segment of the country's population, President Dr. Muiz stated that they will have a voice in governance and play a significant role in shaping the state. He inaugurated a Presidential Youth Advisory Council to gather youth perspectives and address the challenges they face in their advancements. The government has been implementing various initiatives to enhance youth empowerment, collaborating with relevant authorities to improve employment, education, and trade opportunities. As part of these efforts, a dedicated Ministry of Youth Empowerment, Information and Arts has been established.
Maldives set to co-chair the Commonwealth's ministerial meeting on small states, PSMNEWS, to be held in 2026. The decision was announced during the ongoing ministerial meeting of the small states ahead of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa.
In a statement released by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Maldives is set to assume the role of co-chair of the meeting along with the host country of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in 2026. As the co-chair, the Maldives will focus on continuing the advocacy efforts in support of the interests of the small states. The ministry stated that this role will further enhance the Maldives' efforts in championing the cause of small island developing states on the global stage. During the ongoing meeting of the PSMNEWS in the margins of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Abdullah Halil engaged with foreign ministers from Commonwealth member states. The discussions primarily focused on pressing issues facing small states, including economic vulnerability, climate action, and access to finance. Furthermore, Minister Dr. Halil underscored the need for financial reforms to address the challenges faced by small states. The minister urged for stronger commitments on climate finance ahead of the COP29 and called for enhanced access to finance and debt sustainability solutions. He also shed light on initiatives such as SIDS Debt Sustainability Support Service and stressed the importance of economic diversification for long-term resilience of small states. The Commonwealth Ministerial Meeting on Small States is a key gathering held on the sidelines of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, bringing together foreign ministers from across the Commonwealth to engage and foster partnerships to promote resilience and sustainable development of small states.
Minister of Finance Musa Zamir announces plans to amend regulations mandating that all government-owned companies appoint a chartered accountant. This initiative aims to enhance the financial management of these entities, as highlighted by the minister during a press conference addressing public expenditure management issues. Minister Zamir emphasized the government's commitment to reforming state-owned enterprises, SOEs, noting that audits for companies like Fennica Corporation revealed a lack of proper financial statements prepared by accountants. He acknowledged previous efforts by former finance ministers to address these shortcomings and confirmed discussions with the President to implement this requirement. The finance minister stated that the government will determine the accounts of each SOE through a chartered accountant in Maldives, necessitating each SOE to hire an accountant and establish an auditing system. He underscored the need for a robust legal framework to manage state assets within these companies, ensuring accountability for those responsible. Noting that there is a specialized section within the ministry and a separate legal institution, Minister Zamir highlighted that this leads to legal conflicts. Meanwhile, Attorney General Ahmad Usham highlighted ongoing legal ambiguities regarding representation for state-owned companies, noting the absence of a sufficient system to investigate recent corruption cases within these entities. He suggested that a dedicated regulatory body for government companies may enhance oversight, indicating that previous management under the Finance Ministry had been more effective. He added that any necessary legal amendments are under consideration to resolve these issues. The Ministry of Tourism reveals that the Maldives has welcomed over 1.6 million tourists so far this year.
The latest tourism update report released by the Tourism Ministry indicated that a total of 1,603,287 tourists visited the Maldives as of October 21st. This is a significant increase of 9.5% compared to the tourist arrival within the same period last year. The statistics further show that a total of 111,260 tourists visited the Maldives till so far this month, a notable 7.7% compared to the number of tourists who arrived during the same period last year. The statistics indicate that China continues to be the top market source of tourism with 235,765 tourist arrivals. Following China, the leading source markets include Russia with 176,185 visitors, 136,081 tourist arrivals from the United Kingdom, 120,380 from Germany, and 111,478 from Italy. Additionally, the data shows the tourist arrival from India has been increasing with a total of 96,763 tourists arriving up to this date. On an average, 5,435 tourists arrive to the Maldives daily. The steady influx has encouraged the government to set an ambitious target of attracting 2 million tourists by the end of the year. To achieve this goal, the Maldives now has to welcome 396,713 tourists. The government has been exerting several efforts to increase the tourist arrivals. As such, it has been actively collaborating with parties involved in the tourism industry to showcase the Maldives in international platforms.
Minister of Agriculture and Animal Welfare Dr. Aishat Ramila calls for increased national investment in the marketing of agricultural products. She made this statement during her address at the 52nd session of the Committee on World Food Security in Rome.
Speaking at the Forum on Coordinated Policy Responses to Food Crisis, the state of food security and nutrition in the world, Minister Dr. Ramila highlighted the Maldives' efforts to eradicate hunger and ensure that the food provided is nutritious, in line with the committee's guidelines for policy implementation at national, regional and international levels. She also outlined the challenges faced in addressing these issues. In her remarks, Minister Dr. Ramila noted the Maldives' heavy reliance on imported food products, acknowledging that this dependence is not a sustainable solution. She emphasized the need for collective action to achieve future food security in the Maldives, advocating for transformation of the country's food system to ensure environmentally sustainable agricultural practices. Additionally, Minister Dr. Ramila addressed the obstacles the Maldives faces in meeting the objectives outlined in the Right to Food guidelines. She expressed concerns about the adverse effects of climate change on agriculture, limitations on land availability for agricultural expansion, and the sudden global disruptions caused by conflicts and disease outbreaks. She stressed the importance of promoting various forms of gardening, including urban, school and community gardening, as well as increasing public awareness. The minister also underscored the necessity of utilizing renewable energy sources in agricultural practices and enhancing investments to lower marketing costs for agricultural products. Minister Dr. Ramila stated that small island nations like the Maldives require international support to ensure food security. She expressed optimism about addressing the current challenges to food security through information exchange along with financial and technical assistance.
Minister of Homeland Security and Technology Ali Hassan announces that the government has recovered more than $65 million from the $110.6 million owed by private entities in fees for foreign workers. During the recent press conference at the President's office, Minister Hassan detailed the government's efforts to regulate illegal foreign workers. He emphasized the expansion of Operation Kurangi, which aims to address the issue of illegal immigration across the country. Launched on June 3rd, the operation has successfully collected biometric data from 6,891 foreigners residing in 82 islands. The objective is to gather information on all foreigners within a year although this could potentially be completed by January if the current phase continues. The operation will soon extend to the Male area, beginning on November 1st, with over 150 employees participating, supported by the ministry and government state-owned enterprises. Additionally, Controller General of Immigration Muhammad Shamman Wahid reported that 51 foreigners attempting to cross the border illegally have been deported this year. He noted that many individuals are attempting to enter the Maldives using counterfeit or forged passports and documents. The government has set an ambitious target of deporting 5,000 illegal immigrants this year, with 4,361 deportations completed thus far. This figure includes individuals taken into custody for illegal immigration, those who voluntarily requested to leave, and those deported following notification from immigration authorities. Minister of Homeland Security and Technology Ali Hassan announces that drugs valued at $21 million have been seized over the past 11 months, underscoring the serious drug crisis in the Maldives. During the recent press conference at the President's office, Minister Hassan emphasized the collaborative efforts being undertaken with various agencies to address this pressing issue. The minister revealed a significant operation against narcotics involving multiple government institutions. This initiative resulted in the confiscation of 177 kilograms of drugs and over 8,300 bottles and cans of alcoholic beverages, reflecting the alarming extent of substance abuse in the country. Commissioner of Police Ali Shujao elaborated on the extensive police efforts to combat drug-related offenses. He reported that 355 drug cases have been investigated and forwarded to the prosecutor's office, alongside 155 drug-related operations conducted in urban and provincial areas. More than 12,000 premises have been searched, leading to over 900 arrests, including 145 foreigners who have been referred to immigration authorities. Furthermore, Minister Hassan reiterated the government's commitment to finding a sustainable solution to the drug crisis during the current presidential term. A crucial aspect of this effort involves amending existing laws, with 2 drug-related bills submitted to the Attorney General's office and expected to be presented to Parliament shortly. He also noted the Hope Island initiative, which aims to protect children from criminal influences, with a funding proposal to be submitted to the Economic Council next week. To support youth struggling with addiction, the minister announced that operation would commence in urban market areas to direct individuals in need to remand centers. Additionally, Commissioner Shujao reported that disciplinary action has been taken against 48 police officers as of September this year, highlighting the importance of transparency in police matters. A total of 48 officers have been arrested this year, with 17 subsequently dismissed from service. The Commissioner also noted ongoing recruitment efforts, with over 360 new officers currently undergoing training. The Maldives Police Service is actively enhancing its operational capacity by providing necessary resources and expanding training initiatives to ensure public safety and effectively combat crime. Minister of Finance Musa Zamir submits the supplementary budget to cover state expenses worth a total of $332 million to the Parliament. The budget includes $97.3 million as recurrent expenses and $227 million as capital expenditures.
Following the submission of the supplementary budget, Minister Zamir noted that this year's state budget was approved by the previous administration. The minister stated that the previous administration did not prepare the budget such that the economic reforms could be implemented. He added that the current administration has submitted the supplementary budget in accordance with legal requirements, taking into account upcoming projects and anticipated expenses. The supplementary budget was proposed as the state budget is insufficient to fulfill the visions of President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu and his administration. Contributing factors include expectations of increased time and costs for implementing reforms, higher than expected expenses for medical consumables, anticipated increased spending on indirect subsidies, and a rise in loans issued under the student loan scheme. Additionally, $129.7 million of the supplementary budget is allocated for carrying out Public Sector Investment Program (PSIP) projects without any halts. The supplementary budget consists of an additional $28.6 million for state-owned enterprises, additional $42.2 million for the contingency budget, $29.7 million for student loans, $13 million for medical consumables, $17 million to assist with medical treatment, $66.1 million for subsidies, and $1.5 million for salaries. The Ministry of Finance stated that the supplementary budget will be financed through project loans, the sale of treasury bills, and internal loans. Specifically, the government plans to secure $64 million from international sources and $194 million from internal sources. An additional $3.6 billion will be added to this year's state budget when the supplementary budget is passed. Last year, a supplementary budget of $421 million was approved to cover state expenses.
The government proposes amendments to the Tobacco Control Act to impose a fine of $1,302 for the sale of e-cigarettes and vaping products and $325.75 for their use. The bill was introduced in Parliament by parliamentarian Ahmad Aifan on the behalf of the government.
The amendment aims to prohibit the use and sale of vapes while instituting stringent measures against violators. Under the proposed amendments, the sale of tobacco products to individuals under the age of 21 will be prohibited, along with any participation in such sales. Additionally, retailers will be required to display warnings at points of sale. Currently, the minimum age for selling tobacco products is set at 18 years. The amendment further stipulates that the advertisement, public display, and transportation of tobacco products in public view will be banned in the Maldives. The manufacture of tobacco and any tobacco-related products will also be prohibited. Moreover, the proposed amendment prohibits the import, sale, free distribution, and use of vaping devices such as e-cigarettes. Should such items be imported into the Maldives, a fine of $3,257 will be levied, along with a fine of $651 for each individual item. The bill specifies a fine of $1,302 for selling any type of vaping device and a fine of $651 for each item sold. Additionally, a fine of $325.75 will be imposed for the use of any vaping devices. Furthermore, any individual who sells or distributes a vaping device to a minor will face a fine of $3,257 in addition to penalties for the sale and distribution of such devices. Under this amendment, all individuals engaged in the import, export, and sale of tobacco products, both in bulk and individually, will be required to obtain a special license, which will not be granted for tobacco-related businesses alone. The amendment is anticipated to be approved and will come into effect on November 15th, as outlined in the bill submitted to the Parliament.
The Parliament officially approves Maldives' participation in the International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA). The approval was to join IAEA was granted with the unanimous votes of 61 parliamentarians.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz approved the Maldives' participation in the IAEA with a focus on seeking assistance in nuclear medicine, which is crucial for cancer treatment, following the decision made during a cabinet meeting. The issue was then sent to Parliament, which forwarded the case to the Parliament's Foreign Relations Committee. Parliamentary approval was granted following the approval of the committee. While the government has decided to collaborate with IAEA, it disclosed that all works pertaining to it will be led by the Ministry of Defense. The ministry will spearhead the process of joining the IAEA, which the government notes will be a long-term endeavor. Established on July 29, 1957, the IAEA aims to prevent the use of nuclear energy for military purposes while promoting its benefits. It currently has 178 countries. The Maldives and Bhutan are the only regional nations not yet members. According to the Constitution of the Maldives, international treaties must be submitted to and approved by Parliament before they can be implemented.
That's it for this week. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.